Welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. Today I want you to do a release close-up for the Lawn Fawn summer release and also show you some things that I found out whilst labelling and having a look through. So we're going to have a look. I have most of the items here. I don't tend to buy coordinating dies because I have a scan and cut, and the videos for that will be in that top right hand corner. But I am going to show you some of the other things that are in here and also point out a couple of things. So the first thing are the stitched cloud frames. Aren't they gorgeous? Plus you have the smiley faces and things that you can pop onto your clouds. These produce a great frame, and something I noticed when I was labelling up are things that it coordinates with. I've never noticed this before. So these cloud shaped frames coordinate with outside in stitch cloud stackables and are perfect for shakers. So these are the outside in stitch stackables in the clouds. So they coordinate perfectly with these two, so you can make lots of frames and die cuts on all those sorts of things and embellish between the two. So this is one of the new items. We also have lift the flap circles, and it tells you how they coordinate with the porthole frames, which I also have here. So these have those dots all the way around, and it also tells you again that they coordinate backwards and forwards. The idea of these with this little tab here is that you can pick them up and close them to create some more interactive card ideas. We also have the little music note, which coordinates with one of the stamp sets that's coming up. More basics for you. So the stitch scalloped rectangles, and these coordinate with the outside in stitched rectangle stackables, which I already have in my stash, so they're in the new release. We also have a couple of shadow box add-ons. So this is the ocean add-on, and it allows you to create little things like this. So you can see here, you can create all these sea scenes with seaweed, and you've got your fish there and things. So you have all of those dies, this little scalloped frame that you could use on any of the shadow box cards. You've got the banner in there, which is also another really handy piece to have, and your ocean pieces. Another add-on that we have is the treat box for the doghouse. Isn't that cute? Our little puppy in his bowl. We've got the dog tags, we've got the doors, and these are the pieces you can create. So these pieces here create the wood effect on there, or you've also got the roof on there. So you have lots of different options. Definitely be working with these. Coordinates also with tiny tag sayings. So we also have a new background, Itsy Bitsy polka dot backdrop, which is perfect. You can make it look like bubbles, just like polka dots, all sorts of fun ideas we'll be using these for. We have bunting borders as well, a few ideas on the back here that it coordinates with all of the portrait and landscape pieces. So you can use bunting borders on any of your cards. It's full card width in there. Another add-on we have for the shadow box is the theatre. So we have the curtains, the hillside, this ticket shape in there, stars, and another scallop. And again, on the back here, it shows us a little bit how to do that. So you've got your curtains, you've got that lovely scalloped aperture cover in there. And then we've also got the stitched scalloped circle frames. Again, these coordinate with the circle stackables that I already have in my stash. Stitched scalloped squares, again, coordinate with the older ones. This is the critter concert that works with those music notes we saw earlier. Really fun if you've got someone in band, someone who loves music or musical. Also, of course, go ahead, toot your own horn. Hope you have an awesome day. So lovely sentiments in there too. We have more of the scenes. So this one are the village shops. We've got houses, churches. Again, that just builds on that idea. And I did do a scenery video, I'll link it again up there the other day, on how to build scenes and some of my tips for doing that. We have coaster critters. So again, they can ride in a little cart going along here, and you can make it interactive with the coaster critters add-on. So this die follows this perfectly. So they can go up and down, and you can make that interactive. I will be doing some more interactive card ideas, so stay tuned for this one. Plus this fits perfectly in some of those landscape builders from Lawn Fawn as well. This is screen time, perfect for any gamer. So for Greg or for Maddie, will you be my player too? You leveled up, it's your birthday. You can also do them texting backwards and forwards, and I love how they're in the speech bubble, so you can make it look like an iPhone in there as well. more along that seaside theme. So You Are Sublime. Love these puns. So Deepest Thanks, Light Up My World. And of course you could use your chibis to create lights under here. On the glowfish you've got the submarine, you've got the diver as well. And there. More planner. This one is appointments. First of all, it's great if you are into your planner art and you can create all of that. But also you've got all of these appointments you could have. And so you could use them as professions. So you could be congratulations on becoming a doctor, optometrist. So it's really cool, I think, also to mix and match into your card making. You can use that in there. Now this is one thing I was really excited about in this month's release is the reveal wheel, and we're going to be making a card with the reveal wheel. So you can see here you get to turn this piece, and so you're going to mix and match. And so I'm going to pop this to the side whilst we have a look at a couple of the other things. So these are all the cards. I just keep these for when I'm doing photography. This is an add-on to this reveal wheel, the ice cream, and I'm going to show you later how that works. We're going to make a card with it. You also have one in a chameleon. How cute is that? And we have another add-on, which is the speech bubble that goes with this. More word dies. This time in the script we have the happy anniversary. Gorgeous. I just love this. I love the puns. I think they're so much fun. Manatee-rific. So let's celebrate all sorts of fun things, and the gorgeous little guys in here. Imagine putting those in that shadow box add-on. Another add-on is the How You Been star add-on. So that works in that bean, all about your star wishes come true. Also, I have used these in the grabber that you get at the arcade. That's a really fun way to use these too. Ice cream sets, you all know I have to collect ice cream sets. So ice cream, you scream, and then we've got all those wonderful stitched elements in there as well. Would work great with this month's Hedgehog Hollow box. Happy Father's Day on that lovely font. We have some ocean wave borders that are stitched, so lovely to add scenery if you're using some of those new under the sea items too. We have a miss you again on that line sentiment. I do love how they come out. And then this is the reveal wheel sentiments. So these are curved to fit in the curved aperture that it cuts. Or you can have straight ones again. So we have hope your day is, and then you can have all of these. We have a really, and then you can add in words. Birthdays, all the best, many wishes. Hello in multiple languages, many thanks in multiple languages. I can't thank you enough. Plus we have the turn me, turn the wheel, turn here, etc, etc. So that's a wrap up of what is in this release. So let's create a card. So I've die cut everything we're going to need to complete our card. I did these cute little manatees, and I just used 3 shades of Copic, something really easy. So an N2, an N4, and an N7. I also die cut some of the scenery from the Shadow Box Ocean add-on. So I cut some seaweed here, there's some little shells out the pink, and I've cut some starfish out. And then I used the YR18 Copic, just literally up and down dots just to give them some texture, and I used a fine liner just to pen in some of those lines on them. So I've also die cut the stitched hillside backdrop in landscape, and I've die cut some of the new stitched wave borders here. This is all Lawn Fawn cardstock. I used one of the rainbow cardstock packs. I'll link all of that up in the description for you. And we're going to add some adhesive onto here. So the first one I'm going to do is along here, like this. And I'm going to layer this over the top, like so. And then I'm just going to trim this edge with a pair of scissors, like that. You can see there how we've got that ocean starting to build up. I'm going to pre-trim this one. I just want to decide exactly where I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to trim that here. And so again, I'm going to pop this inside first, like this, just to make sure it's the right size. Like that. So you can see how this is coming together. And then I'm going to pop the adhesive on. I'm actually going to put it just under here. So I'm just putting it on the edge of that piece on there, and I'm pressing that down. So I'm just holding this down for a second while the adhesive sticks. And then we need to start cutting out our reveal wheel. So I've already die cut the circle pieces. We also need to die cut the background and cut that out of a piece of white. And so I'm going to show you a couple of things first. So this is the reveal wheel. And so you just pop it down on here, use a little bit of post-it tape to hold it in place. And then the add-ons, you can decide how you want to do this. So each of the add-ons has this notch piece cut out. And so you can see it fits in there perfectly. So you can decide what you want your sentiment to be. Or you can do the same with the speech bubble and the same with the ice cream cone. So you can change the flavours. And there is an ice cream cone set in the back there that coordinates with it. Now I'm going to use, I'm just thinking about what sentiments I'm going to do. So I'm going to use the curved one. But I'm first of all, oops, Daisy. I'm going to use a fresh piece of post-it. That's a well-loved one, because I really want to make sure it's stuck on there, first of all. So I'm going to use a couple of pieces along here, this. So I lost my battery then. So yeah, I've just put some post-it tape down. I'm going to run this through my Gemini Junior, and then I'll show you how we're going to add on our extra piece. So once you've run it through the die machine, this is how it looks. As I say, typically you would pop this piece in here and that's going to cut it out for a portrait style card. You could also do it the other way up. So your reveal wheel was at the bottom and then you could have your sentiment come there. But I'm going to show you something a little bit different. So I'm going to pull this out of here. Like this. So we've got a lovely stitched edge on there, beautiful finishing touch. And I'm going to pop my ocean piece over the top. And this happens to fit perfectly inside of here. So I'm going to have mine like so. And then we need to work out where our reveal wheel piece is going to go. So mine is going to go just here. I'm going to stick my piece on, oops, making sure it's straight. Again, I'm going to die cut that out. And so you can see here we've now got our little window, and now we're ready to assemble our reveal wheel. So this is the wheel I've cut out and it has score lines, and I've just done this one. The score lines are where I've put each of these black marks. I just used a Sharpie over the top just to show you. So that divides up your segments where you're going to stamp your sentiments. It's just a little guide for you. And you're going to need some brads. Now I have some of the Ideology ones. You're not going to see them, so any brad will work fine. I'm just going to pop one out of here. So you're going to take your wheel piece, and you've got this wheel here, and we're going to pop this through. So I've got, sorry, other way up. So your score lines, so your correct side to the top, you're going to place the little piece here on the bottom. I'm just trying to get this through the hole. So it makes all of these holes for you. You don't have to do any of this. You can then just open up your brad, like so, and you can see here how this is going to work. And actually I'm going to do my brad the other way up, just so that I know that that's not going to be seen. And you could customize this depending on what you're doing as your project, if you're doing something of the more traditional, or if doing that. So you can see here it's going to be that our wheel spins like this. And now we're going to pop some foam on here. So I'm going to grab my big roll. I already have some pieces I cut down for a previous project. And so I'm going to pop these foam pieces on here. You want to make sure they're only on this center circle. You don't want them outside of that circle. And you're going to want a card base. So for my card base, I'm using a piece of Neenah Solar White 8.5 by 11. Fold it in half like this. And we're actually going to kind of build ours in reverse. And I also have card front pieces. So I'm going to build a card front and then stick it on my base. So I'm now going to grab this piece here. And I'm going to grab this piece. We're just going to kind of do a few adjustments to make sure everything lines up perfectly. Quite often I will do this with a card. I find it's easier to work on another piece and then just map that onto my card front. Like so. And so we're now going to pop my sentiment wheel underneath. And you're going to do it so you cannot see that score line. So now we're ready to add our foam. We're going to add a thin piece here, a full size, and then some pieces round. So I'm going to use my big roll of foam and then just trim down appropriately with some non-stick scissors. To line up our reveal wheel, so I'm going to just pop it here. So again, I don't want to see that score line. I can see through, if I kind of tilt it that way, you can see too that none of the foam is intruding on our reveal wheel piece. So I'm going to grab just a card front size piece of Neenah Solar White and we're going to assemble this. So let's peel all the backing off of our foam. Make sure our reveal wheel does not stick. So I'm going to hold this in place. And I'm going to stick this onto my card front piece. So now we've got that on, we can test out our wheel, you can see there. And we can also do our stamping. So I'm just going to stamp out with the Lawn Fawn Jet Black, which is the same I used on my manatees. And I'm just going to stamp in my sentiments. So now I've done that, because I've stamped mine further in, I'm getting less sentiments in. So the further out you put them, if you did the traditional size, you can put more sentiments in there. But I just love the idea of doing something here a little bit different. So now we can add this piece on. And again, we're going to be using some foam pieces. I'm going to make some myself to put these thinner pieces on. So easy with the big roll of tape. And then, so I'm going to pop some across here. And then with non-stick scissors, you can really cut it down to any size you'd like. So I'm going to cut just like this. You saw how easy my scissors come out of there. So I'm going to put a piece down here. Making sure it's not peeking through on the other side. Just need to trim it down a little bit more. Again, you can use your paper as a guide and you can trim that foam. And put on there. And then we're going to pop this on the top here. So we're going to have that piece on there. So you can see here, I can still turn my wheel in here, and I'm just going to lift this up a little bit to give it some extra room. So you can see here, I can just keep turning, and it kind of looks like they're coming out of the waves, which I absolutely love. I think that's such a fun idea on here. And so now we can add some decorations on. So we've got the two manatees, and I think I'm going to have them kind of coming out of here. Like this. And so I like to lay things out. So she's going to go in there. Go up here, and then we also want to have our sentiment, and so I'm going to grab my manatee stamp set. And so I'm going to use some of that light blue again, and I also have another piece that I can just trim off. This was the excess from the ocean. And of course you could use this the other way up. It'd also make a great stencil, and so many different things you could do on there. So I'm going to have, oops, let's, and then I'm going to stamp that out using my Lawn Fawn ink. And then I'm going to have Celebrate. Oh, someone's gone wonky. And so excuse my head for a second. and I'm going to trim that down. So we're going to have a Let's Celebrate. And I'm just going to pop these back on here because those little stamps are always the ones that go missing when you do your clear up. I'm going to then use Have a Really, which is on my desk somewhere. So use the Have a Really. And let's see if our manatee's out of the way. So that Have a Really Amazing, super, terrific. And we want Birthday. And so you can choose where you want to put your birthday. I'm going to put mine on there. And now we can add all of our little pieces. So I'm going to grab just some of that foam that I had left over. Like this. So you can see there we've got our Have a Really Amazing, Have a Really Awesome, Have a Really Super Birthday. And I'm also going to add our little ternary stamp. I always try to put these little stamps back because they are the ones I will lose. Again, excuse my head if it comes in, otherwise it's just easier. And then we can add our little finishing touches. So I'm going to add my manatees first. I'm going to make it look like they're jumping out of the sea. I'll try and just tuck that one in there just a little bit like that. I think she needs just a tiny bit of foam on the back of her. So you can kind of just play around with the ideas. And we could also add in, we've got starfish here, I cut out some seashells. And of course we can add in some seaweed as well. So there we have our finished card. I just need to pop this onto a card base, and I'm going to just use a Nina Solar White regular card base. I'm going to use the £110 because it's a little bit firmer, and I'm also going to use my deluxe adhesive on here too, like so. And so I'm just going to press that down. I'm going to open it up and press it down firmly from this side. And there we have our super awesome, so really have a super amazing, awesome birthday. Let's celebrate. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I may even add a few sequins. You'll see there is a blog post below with all your links, how I created this, again a little bit of an overview, some pictures of the card as well, so do check that out. And also any coupon codes we will pop on the blog for you as well. We hope to see you again so very soon even. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and also click the bell so you get notifications whenever we have a new video. Happy stamping everyone. Bye.